Sustainability, a well-known concept, isn't just a choice anymore. It's a survival skill which very few can ace. Listening to problems is difficult. Ignoring them is dangerous. But solving them, that's what we are here for. We all know that fashion industry has hidden costs, which someone, somewhere, has to pay the price for.
Therefore, representing the spirit, sustainability, kindness and entrepreneurship, this is Enactus Edge. We, Ananya and Siddhant, are your hosts for today, and we couldn't have asked for a better partner in this conversation than Ms.Tanishka Mishra. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am. So now let's move into the part जहाँ पे हम sustainability के बारे में बात करते हैं. Since you yourself are a sustainable influencer, तो we would like to ask you कि sustainability exactly क्या होती है? Not just क्या होती है, फिर कैसे होती है, but क्यों होती है? And हम लोग young लोगों के नज़रिए से देखना चाहते हैं कि exactly sustainability क्या होती है.
So sustainability, in very simple words, I would say it is about continuity, right? Something that can be continued in the future, right? That's sustainability. We live in a way that doesn't jeopardize the resources, and in the future generations can use it as well. So that's sustainability. Now sustainability also has three pillars, right? There is the environmental aspect, there is a social aspect, and there is an economic aspect. Any activity has to be environmentally sustainable so that resources are not harmed, so that there is sufficient resources for the future generations to come. It should be socially impactful, right? It should be socially sustainable so that there is no section of the society that is getting affected here. Like, for example, if we talk about waste, right? We think we have thrown our waste, so it's out of our house, but most of the waste gets dumped in the landfill. And who gets impacted? It's usually the marginalized sections of the society, the section that is economically weaker. This activity is not socially sustainable because their lives are getting impacted. And when I talk about economic sustainability, any activity that doesn't put a burden on the financial resources of any organization, any industry, right? So if we talk, like I gave an example of waste, if we talk about waste solutions, right? I cannot come up with a waste solution that is that has such a financial burden on my own resources that we cannot continue it. So we have to make sure all these three aspects are getting balanced. In terms of waste, if I talk about, the waste should be managed properly, right? So that my emissions are at the lowest. So that's environmentally sustainable. Then when I talk about social sustainability, no weaker section of the society or any section of the society is getting impacted by the way I discard my waste. And economic sustainability is something that I have come up with a solution in a way that I'm able to spend my resources, pay my workers fairly for that. And I can continue that in the long term. So sustainability is continuity.
That's very well put, ma'am. Now let's come up to your journey, and since we know that you yourself are an influencer, so you've built a space जहाँ पे mindful living पे ज़्यादा focus किया जाता है rather than intimidating content which we see a lot nowadays. So I want to ask you, what moment was that जहाँ पे आपने सोचा that you would like to move into sustainable spaces?
So my journey has been a little different, like in the sense that during my school and college, I was somebody who was always confused that what I need to do in my career. So short answer is that quest for what I had to do in my career got me into sustainability. So I have been a creative person and I was pursuing BCom honors, and I was not very happy with my course in the sense that I did not feel a sense of mission. I felt like is it something that I'm doing is impactful? Are my skills being completely utilized? And that was something that constantly went on my mind. Then COVID happened, so it was a time for me to take a step back and reflect कि मुझे क्या करना है. And during that time, because there was a lot of free time, I read about the SDGs. I read about my mentor Dr. Daisako Ikeda's guidance around how young people are so important, how young people need to come forward and take action towards climate change. And yeah, we must work on building a world where nobody is left behind. And that guidance really shook me, right? And I decided, okay, whatever I do in my career, I'll make sure sustainability is the core value there. So back then, because I was a creative person, I was working on a small art page, I was making art products, customized products, etc. So because I did not have that much knowledge, so जितनी knowledge थी उसके हिसाब से I would make sure कि चलो packaging is sustainable, there is minimal plastic being used, I'm reusing the paper that is there. So these were the small steps I started taking. Then I educated myself further about, okay, what's fast fashion, what is mindful consumption, etc. And then I realized, okay, the way I consume, the way, you know, okay, I love fashion, but the way I approach fashion is wrong. Like hopping onto every other trend is not mindful fashion, it's not mindful consumption. And I realized that although my lifestyle was sustainable in a way, like the way I grew up, कि हम market जा रहे हैं तो we are carrying our own bags. My parents did not really allow me कि okay हर दूसरे दिन कोई नया कपड़ा लेना है. That was a mindful setting, but as I was growing up, I realized I was coming out of that mindful consumption habit because of maybe peer pressure or maybe associating कि यही शायद this is the only way to have to feel joy in life. So you know, then you know, going back to your old habits, that I realized that was important. And yeah, then I thought, okay, since I'm creative also, I'm learning about this, so why not start creating content on this? So that's how my journey started. And it feels great to promote sustainable brands, right? Build a space where you know, you are like creating a two-way effect, that you are inspiring people to adopt a more conscious habit, and on the other hand, if you're collaborating with a brand, you're also helping that sustainable brand to grow. So the economic aspect of sustainability, like I said. Then after that, I realized, okay, I also want to understand how businesses work in sustainability. So that's how I decided, okay, let me pursue an MBA in sustainability management. And that's how I got into corporate sustainability as well. So right now, I feel it's just in the perfect, you know, I'm experiencing the best of both the worlds here, because I'm able to interact with the consumer aspect of things, how consumers approach sustainability. I'm able to educate them. And on the business aspect, I'm working in corporate, so I'm also able to work on the business side of sustainability. And so that helps my communicate, because I know both the sides. So my communication, the way I communicate is very balanced. I don't come up with extreme things that, okay, stop buying from these brands, because I know even for businesses to become sustainable, there needs to be a systematic change. Like you can't shut down factories, you can't shut down supply chains, because there are livelihoods that get impacted. So this shift needs to be gradual. That is why my communication is not intimidating. It has to be balanced.
That was a truly inspiring journey. We are all young change makers here, and we are truly inspired to hear that. You mentioned something about like you have been thinking about this from college. So like I want to ask you, like use and throw culture जो होता है, उसको how can we convert it into like reuse, repair and like regenerate वाला culture?
I think we must first understand where is this use and throw culture coming from. Use and throw culture is coming from a place where we have built a world where everything is very accessible. Like सब कुछ सस्ते में मिल जाता है. So that's why use and throw culture is there itself. Like when Shein came back to India, right? They were selling 4 tops for just ₹20. People went crazy, and very few people like took a step back and think, okay, are resources being properly utilized here? Are people who are making these clothes actually getting paid? What would be the real quality of those clothes? If they are, you know, so cheap, will they last? So this how systems are built, how people are building systems, and how consumers are approaching these things is, you know, instigating, is increasing this use and throw culture. Then I think there is this sense of FOMO amongst all the young students. Even I had that sense of FOMO. When I was in school, when I was in college, you know, I want to have every new outfit, I want to go to H&M, I want something trendy and all. I've been there. But I think to overcome that FOMO, how to overcome that FOMO is to just take a step back again and reflect, okay, what resonates with you truly? And is every trend, is it necessary for me to hop onto every trend? Or, you know, just pick and choose, okay, what's for me? And आप trends का भी cycle देखोगे, trends वो same चीज़ ही बार बार आती रहती है. Like in the 70s, flared pants were trending, and suddenly now here flared pants are here. Low waist pants, you will see, okay, 2000s में suddenly they went out of fashion, now they are coming back in fashion. So this will like continue to happen. And just because आपको FOMO हो रहा है, because you see that influencer, okay, उन्होंने मतलब ऐसा through their communication, through their marketing, आपको लगता है कि okay, मुझे भी ये चीज़ चाहिए. So that creates that creates a use and throw culture. FOMO होता है. So just reflect what resonates with you, pick things, and build your own personality, and then you will overcome that use and throw culture. Like right now, buying things is the easiest. What is not easy? To take care of your own things. So वही mindset shift चाहिए that young people look at value caring about things more than buying things, like caring your that old dress that you might have brought, उसको अगर थोड़ा सा it's getting torn, उसको रफू करा के आप reuse करो, that's more valuable. And sadly आज के culture में क्या है कि उसको नहीं माना जाता है valuable, right? So I think it's also on the young people that they come forward and उस चीज़ को normalize करें, then normalizing buying everything.
Ma'am, in today's time, we see that every sector is moving towards sustainability, be it food, travel, fashion. But then there are some industries which are actually just repainting the surface instead of actually making an effect into it. So, आपको क्या लगता है, कौन सी ऐसी इंडस्ट्री है जो कि actually help कर रही है, actually impact create कर रही है, और कौन सी ऐसी इंडस्ट्रीज हो सकती है जो कि सिर्फ repaint कर रही है surface को?
So, I think it's wrong to comment on any industry for it being a trailblazer in sustainability or being a villain in sustainability. I think within industries, there are companies which are doing great work within sustainability, while there are also companies that are just greenwashing, कि वो बस marketing कर रहे हैं sustainability के, and they are not actually sustainable. So industry-wise, I won't comment, but yes, of course, there are industries जो emission-wise they are emission intensive, तो उसमें changes लाने में time लगता है. There are, so उन industries में action लेना urgent है. For example, fashion, aviation, or maybe dairy, poultry, unme action is needed, right? And there are companies that are doing great work. For example, if I talk about fashion, there are companies that are actually, you know, building an ecosystem around circularity. They are sourcing second-hand items from people's wardrobe and building a marketplace around it. Then there are other companies within fashion that are just greenwashing, like recycled polyester को ही use करके they are saying, okay, we are sustainable. So it depends company to company, within industries as well. For a consumer, I feel you just have to go through a brand's policies, what they are doing, how transparent they are, right? Again, look how impactful they are from that environmental, social and economic aspect, and then take a call which, like from a consumer's perspective, that which organization is more sustainable, and then choose their products more in comparison to the less sustainable ones.
Truly spoken, definitely agreed. As you mentioned, you're in corporate sustainability. So I would like to ask you, like, there must be certain misconceptions which you must have heard about in, like, say, college days about sustainability only. So do you have any which you have like unlearned now that they are not misconceptions?
Unlearned, specifically about corporate sustainability or general?
General.
Okay, a lot of unlearning has happened. Like, in fact, when I started like my journey into sustainability, the way environmentalists used to talk about sustainability, it also felt intimidating to me. कि सब कैसे बंद हो सकता है, मतलब जीना ही छोड़ देंगे कि क्योंकि मतलब जीना भी तो इस लॉजिक से एमिशंस क्रिएट कर रहा है. सो आई रियलाइज सस्टेनेबिलिटी इज़ नॉट अबाउट परफेक्शन. You have to figure out what are the things that you can adopt in your lifestyle that is perfect for you. For example, I commute to work, my place and to work is like 8 kilometers. And वो route ऐसा है जहाँ पे कोई metro का route नहीं है. I don't have friends जिनके साथ मैं carpool कर सकती हूँ. So I have to drive my own vehicle. Okay. From somebody else's perspective, people can think, oh, you're a sustainability enthusiast. You are a hypocrite for using your own car to drive. But in my situation, there is no other option. So, यहाँ पे perfect sustainability possible नहीं है. Whereas, maybe I can choose to be sustainable in other aspects of life. For example, I do not consume meat at all, right? I used to consume eggs, and I don't consume eggs at all. And now, I'm moving into a more, vegetarian diet, not a plant-based diet, I would say, but a vegetarian diet. That itself is an impactful step for me. Then I don't use plastic-based shampoos. I use a shampoo bar. That's how I'm reducing my consumption in plastic. That felt more relatable for me in my situation, right? So it depends situation to situation, and there is no such thing as perfect sustainability. This is one thing that I have unlearned, and another thing, I think that sustainability doesn't have to be expensive. Of course, at times sustainable alternatives might have an initial high cost, right? For example, if you might invest in a high quality jacket, maybe made out of shirt, maybe made out of hemp, वो शायद थोड़ी सी एक्सपेंसिव होगी इन कंपैरिजन टू अदर फास्ट फैशन ब्रांड्स जो बहुत सस्ते में मिल जाते हैं. सो यू माइट हैव टू इन्वेस्ट इनिशियली थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा, बट इट विल लास्ट लॉन्गर. सो आपकी कॉस्ट पर वेयर कम हो जाती है. तो इन दैट सेंस इट्स नॉट एक्सपेंसिव, इट्स cost efficient basically. So these were some two things, not like two things that I've unlearned, that it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be expensive. It can fit into your daily lifestyle.
Now that we have already come up to misconceptions, मैम हम लोग थोड़ा एक playful segment के बारे में बात कर लेते हैं, जहाँ पे हम लोग आपको कुछ myths बताएंगे and then you can tell us if it's real or if it's a myth. ठीक है, there will be 5 statements and then you can let us know.
Okay, so the first statement is sustainable fashion is boring.
Myth.
Clearly. We've seen your Instagram page and lovely outfits, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. So like fashion is more of a creative process, so you'd have to be creative. You don't have to buy things to look cool.
Of course. Then a sustainable lifestyle is inconvenient.
No, it's not inconvenient. It's how we have been raised. That's why we look at it as inconvenient, but it's all about approaching things with a new mindset.
Of course.
Okay, so the third one is Gen Z only posts about sustainability, but they don't actually take any action.
Can't call it as a myth also, and can't call it as a fact also, because there is a section of Gen Z who are very passionate about sustainability. I can see like within your society also, within the Enactus society, and of course there is a section where people are not aware about sustainability. So myth only.
Of course. Then only big brands can truly be sustainable.
No. I mean, it's a myth. Of course, you need financial backing to build a sustainable brand, because profitability takes time. but I think you can still incorporate small steps into your business and become a sustainable brand.
Okay, so the final one is sustainable fashion kills jobs.
Sustainable fashion kills job. It actually creates more jobs.
Exactly.
So myth again.
Okay. So now that the myths are out of the way, let's get to a question. A lot of young entrepreneurs, right, like aiming towards sustainability, but they have this one doubt: क्या ये financially practical है?
It's practical. It's definitely not impractical, but I would, answer it very fairly. It's not financially easy, right? Running a business in itself has a lot of challenges, right? Profitability takes time, and when you run a sustainable business where you are sourcing materials from a better place, from you are making sure your human resources are being paid fairly. Of course, there is a higher cost, and then that higher cost gets transferred to your customers. And considering the amount of awareness currently, customers are not willing to pay a little premium on sustainable products. That's a sad reality, but it's a reality. So from a business point of view, I think the profitability takes time. So start a sustainable business only when you think you have enough financial backing that you can wait for profitability. And second most important thing, people view sustainable product or a service as an add-on, not as one only feature. Like if I see a product, it's sustainable, I will buy it. No, people don't. They want the product to be functional as well, from a design perspective, from a utility perspective, every perspective. And it should be price competitive as well. अगर एकदम ही 5 times 10 times price है, people think a lot before buying. So just like young entrepreneurs need to think like, okay, I need to balance these aspects as well. I cannot market them as a sustainable. You need to market them as, that hey, this is a product, these are the features that these have, and in addition to this is how it is sustainable. That's how people are able to connect better. There is a higher demand, and like I do my bit here to increase the demand side here by making people aware that okay, you can shop from this sustainable brand, you can choose this product over a disposable one. So yeah,
of course. So ma'am, like you mentioned that sustainable products के अंदर और भी functions होने चाहिए, it should actually be functional. I personally have seen that a lot of sustainable brands don't just support sustainability, but वो other causes पे भी support करते हैं. Coming on that, Sustainable Development Goal number 8 is all about decent work and economic growth. तो मैम, do you think that जो हमारे circular models है, वो जो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शंस है, जो कि एक्चुअली उस लाइन पे आ जाते हैं, बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन के जस्ट इधर है, उनको हेल्प कर सकता है?
डेफिनेटली. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट सर्कुलैरिटी, आप देखोगे दो चीज़ें एक साथ चलती है. देन देयर इज़ अ सर्कुलर मॉडल. यू रिड्यूस वेस्ट, like because you extend a product's life from getting them into landfills, and you also add more people into your value chain where they are able to contribute, they are able to provide you service, and they economically benefit from them. For example, if there is a linear model, उसमें क्लोथिंग का ही एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं कि कपड़े सोर्स करे, बनाए, मैंने यूज़ करे एंड उसको फेंक दिया, लैंडफिल में चला गया. दिस इज़ अ लीनियर मॉडल. नाउ कमिंग टू अ सर्कुलर मॉडल, मैंने कपड़े यूज़ करे, थोड़ा सा वो उसमें वेयर एंड टेयर हुआ, मैंने टेलर के पास जाके रिपेयर करा दिया. अब कुछ ज़्यादा ही वेयर एंड टेयर हो गया कि वो रिपेयर भी नहीं हो सकता, बट वो अपसाइकिल हो सकता है. सो आई रीच आउट टू अनदर मे बी आर्टिस्ट कि इसको कुछ बना दो, इसका बैग बना दो या कुछ कर दो, राइट? सो a new person is coming into my value chain that will get economically benefited here. Then the product might be in a condition कि वो कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता, कि ना यूज़ हो सकता है, ना अपसाइकिल हो सकता है, ना रिपेयर हो सकता है. Then I'll reach out to a textile recycling company. वहाँ पे they have their own setup where they convert, they shred the fabric and convert it into yarn. There in their factory they might have onboarded a lot of people. So there are more people in the value chain that getting added. उनको मैंने send किया. They benefit economically from them, and also, of course, I'm preventing waste from entering the landfill.
Definitely. So like we have a project here, Project Tehseen, which is directly aligning with like fast fashion, Katran. We deal with Katran. So like how would you say like upcycling in fashion and upcycling in broader contexts? How would you define that?
I think there is one common thing between upcycling in fashion and upcycling in broader context, that nothing should go waste. This is one thing common. So आप जो भी कतरन को reuse करके बना रहे हो, you are including artisans, you are improving their lives with one mindset that nothing should go waste. So this can be, replicated in other aspects as well. If I have ordered, say, coffee in a jar, okay, coffee khatam ho gayi, jar bach gaya. I can fill in that jar with some water, put in some planters, right? Similarly, I can decorate those jars a little bit, use it for Diwali. So yeah, like this can easily be replicated with just one mindset that कुछ waste नहीं होना चाहिए. So ये आपके हर चीज़ में, whether it's your e-waste, whether it's your food and grocery, हर जगह replicate हो जाता है.
I think मैम इसका best example would be Indian mothers जो कि let's say कोई डब्बा खाली आ जाता है उसके अंदर कुछ store करके वो फ्रिज में रख देते हैं.
Exactly.
So I think sustainability in India has its roots from a lot of generations earlier. So that is interesting to know. Now coming to you as an influencer, people are expected to keep up with trends. And earlier also you were talking about that not all trends have to be used. So I want to ask you, ma'am, आप कैसे एक balance maintain करते हो कि कौन सा trend actually you should work on that or not? So how do you maintain a balance?
So firstly, like I think it's a very sad reality that influencers are expected to keep up with the trends, whereas influencers should be expected to promote products and services more responsibly because that's a bigger expectation, right? Right now, influencers promote in a way that okay, is product ki link, is clothing ka link, and it creates an impression that you need a product, you need a piece of clothing, you need that shoe to feel relevant, to feel better in life, And how I create a balance, I only like promote products that resonate with my own values, right? I don't think every other person commenting link on my post, that does not resonate with my values. Of course, I share links of sustainable products, right? That is a case, but not any other product. So I make sure that the products are sustainable. I myself would use it. I myself would spend my money on it. If I would not spend my own money on it, how can I even go and promote it?
Of course.
Right. And that's why I reject also a lot of sustainable brands, unsustainable brands. And I know it comes from a place of privilege. Not everybody can reject all brand collaborations because they are unsustainable. But okay, I am using my privilege here to reject collaborations with unsustainable brands. But and I would say the growth through this approach is also a little slower, but I would say it's way more impactful because you are just inculcating a habit of responsible consumption within your audience.
Of course. So I think, ma'am, to sum it all up, I think you were trying to say that you should stay true to what sustainability actually means.
You should stay true to what resonates with you.
Okay, yeah, that too, ma'am.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, that starts with an individual effort. And individual effort starts with smaller differences that you make in your everyday life.
Correct.
Building on that, we have another fun segment.
Okay.
So this game is called the circular swap.
Okay.
So we'd be displaying a few items.
Okay.
And you'd have to give the sustainable alternative of it.
Okay, interesting. What is this?
This is a set of tissue papers.
Your own hanky, cloth hanky, and where you cannot, use cloth hanky at all and you have to use something disposable, there are napkins made out of bamboo that are relatively less emission intensive.
Of course. Then there are ma'am disposable glasses.
Reusable glasses, very simple.
Okay, so now we have a plastic toothbrush.
A bamboo toothbrush.
Toner pads.
Reusable cloth pads.
Okay.
Lovely. The last one we have is plastic pens.
A refillable pen or a pencil, sustainable pencil.
We'd also like to give you an alternative of that. We have a project Upcycle in which we make like seeded pens and they are made out of like craft paper and recycled paper. So yeah.
And there was seed at the back of it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So you truly aced that game. So let's slide back into our conversation. So organizations like Enactus VIPS TC, they create real impact. So what can they focus on more, जैसे practical impact भी आ सके?
Very important question. Firstly, I would like to appreciate Enactus a lot because here you are not just learning about sustainability, but you're also building on solutions. And these are not just any other solution, these are solutions that are practical from a business perspective. So many congratulations on that for being a part of such an organization and working on that. Coming to the solutions, I think a few things that such organizations can be mindful of. Like, of course, organizations are mindful of, but students who are leading it can be mindful of. First is just looking at what the problem is. आपके case में, if you just come up and decide, okay, कपड़े upcycle करते without even looking at the problem, then you know, the solutions might not be as concrete, as long lasting. But in your case, you looked at two problems here, that okay, fabrics are getting piled up and there are people who are not getting paid properly, right? There are people who are from the marginalized section, they are suffering. So how to improve both these things, right? And then secondly would be listening to the people, stakeholders who are part of your solution. Who are the stakeholders that are part of your solution? In your case, it's the artisans. So you are working closely with those artisans and not just telling them that okay, आपके लिए ये ठीक रहेगा, but also listening to them as to where they are coming from. अगर आप उनको कोई नई skill पकड़ा दोगे जो उन्हें नहीं आती है, तो उससे वो आपका solution scale नहीं हो पाएगा. But in your case, you guys were mindful कि artisans हैं, उन्हें basic चीज़ें आती है like patching, embroidery, और fabrics भी हैं. So उनसे relevant आपने solution निकाला. So that's very important. And the third most important thing here is that build a solution that can be continued in the long run, that is sustainable. Like you guys will graduate in a few years, so who will take care of this particular business solution? From that perspective, I think project must be looked at, right? Is there enough fabric, is there enough waste जिसको हम actually scale करके long, like in future भी क्या problem चलेगा या like क्या ये solution चलेगा या नहीं चलेगा? Secondly, is there proper documentation? Like अगर आपके juniors आते हैं, you can guide them and they can also take this up so that आपके जाने के बाद कोई चीज़ बंद नहीं हो जाती है. That is very important.
That does give us some thoughts that we'll go back and think about. But I've heard a lot of people say that sustainability is एक fad की तरह ही है, that it will come and go. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it's I mean, of course it is looked at that way कि कुछ नया trend आया है and influencers also talk it in a very vague way कि oh, you know what, it's sustainable, you should go for it. But I don't know if it will come and go or not, but it is definitely important for sustainability as a lifestyle to stay, right? And I think the people who can allow sustainability as a lifestyle to stay is a lot of stakeholders here, the young people, then corporates, of course, the government based on their solutions, and influencers based on how they communicate. So it's not a fad, it's the need of the hour, it's an urgent thing, and it's also very important to like for young people especially, that when we are shopping, most brands अगर आप देखोगे उनके Instagram bio में लिखा होगा sustainable brand, but वो क्या कर रहे हैं वो उन्होंने कुछ mention नहीं किया होता है. तो very important to differentiate between brands that are sustainable or actually sustainable or are just doing it for the trend. So yeah, it is here to stay. It is very important for it to stay. Yeah.
That does make sense, ma'am. And now that we are moving towards the end of the talk show, there's one very important thing that I would like to ask, which can also help the future generations and the viewers who are watching. What is that one advice that you would like to give to everybody so that people can move towards sustainability?
A sustainable lifestyle, you mean? One important advice is that we associate an unsustainable lifestyle with joy. तो sustainable lifestyle को हम reject ही इसलिए कर देते हैं because लगता है यार ये joy नहीं दे रही है. So for example, people order coffee online, right? And वो disposable packaging में आता है, ये सब आता है, right? It creates a lot of waste, and we think, oh, that's cool, right? Recently, I was looking at a reel of a cafe. They had, designed some disposable cups in which they were selling their boba tea, coffees and matcha, and usme they had also kept a free soft toy. Okay. So and it was being marketed by people that, oh, this is so cool, this is so aesthetic, this is so nice, you get a free product, oh my god, and we associated, okay, इसी से तो joy मिलता है. So again, a mindset shift is very important here, that what is aesthetic here, and who defines aesthetic here, what is cool here, who defines cool, what is joy, who defines joy, right? It is we ourselves who need to change this notion, right? Cool, aesthetic, source of joy, ये होना चाहिए that I'm carrying my own reusable cup to get my coffee, right? To sit in cafes. Cafes or any restaurant for that matter, they should pick a reusable cup instead of a disposable cup to show that, okay, that's aesthetic, that's cool, right? So you don't have to come up with complicated designs. So this is one important thing, that, okay, don't think कि joy आपका ख़त्म हो जाएगा life में if you adopt a sustainable lifestyle. If you do not buy that, cool and trendy product, ऐसा नहीं है आप कम cool लगोगे. आप और तरीक़ों से cool लग सकते हो by creatively styling. So how we look at things like cool, aesthetic, that's very important. We need to change how we look at these things.
That is a beautiful note to end on, truly. You have given us so much inspiration with your talk, and genuinely we, seriously aim to put forward a workshop also for this.
Very glad to know.
As we take a step back from this conversation, there's one thing which we all have learned here, that fashion isn't just what we wear, but what we stand for, and I think that's truly beautiful. So now we would like to present a memento for like a gesture from our side. So.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Hope that together as influencers and societies that are towards sustainability, we hope that we can bring a change which can help the society be a better place. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your time and for coming to this talk show all the way.
Thank you
And
so much for having me.
thank you, ma'am. And to all the viewers, please follow the advice that has been given today. And we hope that you also support us in making the world a better place. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.